I would like to introduce our first speaker to our current panel, Liga Letina. Liga is the head of design at Printify, and she's leading product marketing design ops teams in building one of the world's leading print-on-demand platforms. With her more than 12 years of experience, Liga is actively involved in the UX and service design communities of the Baltics, and she has organized the UX Riga conference as well as volunteers and mentors women in the Riga Tech Girls program. So it goes without saying, she knows her stuff.
And joining Liga today, a true specialist in accessibility, Elina Siskevica. Elina is the accessibility testing department lead at TestDevLab with more than 10 years of experience in IT, especially testing. Besides leading a whole department, Elina has led countless accessibility testing projects, planning the whole process from A till Z. She is also a mentor, a teacher, and a passionate advocate for inclusive design. Accessibility to Elina means creating an environment where discrimination is actively avoided, allowing everyone to participate equally. By fostering inclusiveness, we build a world where everyone feels valued and included. Two experienced sides will join us to discuss why accessibility is a win-win for users and businesses. Welcome to the stage.
Hello. Hey.
Hello there.
Nice to
Thank
be
you for
here.
joining us today. We're very excited to hear from you both. You're both very experienced in your field, and we know our audience today will really appreciate what you have to say.
We can dive into the discussion. So, Elina, we will start with you. Could you please tell us what sparked your joy in accessibility?
So basically, my interest in accessibility was triggered by a combination of my passion, I would say, for helping people and, interest in healthcare side and my background in IT, which is more than 12 years now. So I have always been drawn into field in healthcare, and I planned maybe also working in this, but I switched a bit my field to IT. So, and during my career, also IT career, I noticed that many individuals with disabilities often struggle to fully use their possibilities and potential due to barriers in digital environments. This really motivated me to dive deeper into this topic of accessibility testing and testing accessibility, and especially accessibility testing, because I had this testing background and so on.
So basically, all of your interests rounded up into accessibility.
Yes.
Okay,
exactly.
That's interesting.
And then Liga, how did you end up working in this field of work, and what brought you to user experience?
Probably also curiosity, and mostly curiosity. I was working in a totally different domain 12, 14 years ago. But I was in touch with websites, and I had no idea what UX is and what information architecture is and what even sitemap is. But I was doing websites, and then just out of curiosity, it's like, is it really working? And how do people use this thing? And trying to look into data and then discovering usability, and discovering that you can test with users and that you can actually co-create with users. Basically it opens me the new worlds that I found really exciting, very much interesting. That's dealing just with text that I did before. So curiosity led me here.
Yeah, so interest is a key component, I would say. Okay, ladies, I have actually a question to both of you. In your personal opinion, is there a huge community of people who are trying to promote and fight for a more inclusive design and accessibility?
Elina, you can start on, take it away.
Thank you. I can this is my opinion. Yeah, if we are talking about nowadays, yes, there is a vibrant and growing community. That's why we have this our event today. Yeah, so we have a lot of viewers also for our conference. Yeah, and I see that now we have a growing community of dedicated and people who are working in design, in testing, in business analysis. Yeah, so developers, of course. Yeah, we have people who promoting inclusive design, and they promoting this topic about accessibility. And yeah, now it's better if we're comparing with situation 5 years ago. For some people, it was a totally new topic, and we had a lot of discussions, about what is accessibility, why it's so crucial, critical, why we need to start thinking, not maybe, maybe not changing our products to right now during this year, but please think about accessibility. I remember about this about inclusive design and the design universal design principles, at least when you're designing something, when you're creating some learning materials and so on. So now it's easier to start communication. You should not provide so much information. Of course, it's happens also now. It's totally normal, but if we're comparing those 5 years ago, 10 years ago, at all, so people with disabilities were totally invisible in society, like in social life. They sat at home sometimes, and they had no possibility to participate in social life. Maybe not so how I told it, but now those people are visible. Now people have a possibility at least to speak, to give some feedback, and be visible and help to improve something. So for now it's better, totally better than previous 5 years ago. So Liga, maybe you have something to add, but I'd say.
Also, Elina, probably back then, 5 years ago, it was harder to find some educational materials about accessibility, right? And that has improved.
Yes, exactly. We have also now our courses in TestDevLab school, for example, we created also to improve this topic as well. But of course, they were some material, they were IAP certificates or something else. But overall, this topic was not so popular in Europe as it is now. So, and
Okay.
About
Liga,
education materials, totally agree.
Yes. Liga, what's your opinion on this question?
I want to get in Elina's bubble. Please, Elina, invite me in your bubble, because I don't feel that there is a huge community yet. And I think it also maybe depends how you look at it. For me, I think if you look our regional, Baltics, Nordics, I could name 2-3 companies that are focused, maybe 4 are focused on accessibility. They might have or might not have meetups or smaller external community around them. However, there is no one community that is outside these companies that are really passionate about the accessibility. There's not per se organization that is, which is also important, I think, to localize information in local language. There's still a lot of information that is in English. And if you look at the organizations, and I've been working in If Insurance, where actually I was one of the pioneers of accessibility initiative in the company, and now also in Printify, I see how much it really depends on someone within organization that is passionate about it. And then there's always the need for the driver that is building circle around. And for that driver, very essential is that there is learning materials, materials to refer to. I learned accessibility in university. Now it's very much better situation with more materials, but still, and there's standards and guidelines and etc. But still not that much in local languages, not that much in easy consume way, because it's also a pretty complex domain. And I really wish there would be more designers and more developers in my organization, in different companies, and in general, getting together and talking about accessibility. Okay. I think we can do better. And Elina, loop me in your circle. Would love to be there.
I guess a small follow-up for you, Liga. Obviously you mentioned it's not as big as you'd like it to be. Do you think changes in the legislation at the European level will help grow that community?
So here's the thing, we talk about push and pull, right? Because the best things, also Elina was becoming this domain specialist because of her interest. The strongest is if you have like internal drive to the topic. Obviously, the changes in legislation that will come a bit kind of from top on us and will require us to learn about that more. And that will require us also a lot of specialists to seek for more information, seek for, sparring partners and case studies, and that will also encourage them actually to contact each other.
Okay.
But that would be also kind of on the balance between, push and pull. So let's see. That's a good chance, but let's see.
I guess as a second question also for you, Liga, what should serve as the main motivation for companies deciding to implement accessibility in their digital products?
That's also an interesting one. What should and what is actually serving, right? Obviously, what should, primarily that would be overall ethical responsibility, the social responsibility, that we really care about this, like everyone, and that everyone can use the services equally. That should be one of the main things. The other thing that should be as a driver to think about accessibility, I think also would be actually the market reach, and especially thinking who are our customers, because if we like the first understanding of accessibility, it serves for someone with certain disability, but we know that, and I have experience in my last 3 months even at least 3 temporary disabilities for a while, and our society is also getting older, especially in Europe, so the paying customers are the ones who actually might have a bit extra needs, and here accessibility can actually help you also to reach more customers. From the should part, ethical responsibility, obviously the brand reputation, the market reach should be the key drivers.
Those are drivers, but the ethical one is the one at the core of it all.
But the biggest weight so far, the legal compliance is doing it.
And touching this topic, we all know that 2025 will introduce different regulations regarding different new regulations regarding accessibility. Elina, do you think that the new regulations will create immediate impact on the problem?
From my experience, what I see already, also by questions from potential clients, or also discussions with potential, and also in our community. So for now, what potentially was triggered, it was fear of it. What will be after this 2025? But basically, I think that regulations often serve like a good catalysis, for some changes, for planning, for thinking about how we are going to fix this, how we are going to add some innovations, also how we are going to improve something. What we need to start with, what we need to start, designs, development, education, or basically I see overall that also Latvian companies and European companies, they already started planning, thinking, also fixing something, and they started to provide learning materials for for development teams, and overall, I would say maybe again 2025. This act is act is going to be actual for new products, which will be released after in July, basically 2025. Of course, companies who are developing new projects, of course, they started working and they have now basically a lot of space what to do. They need to know at least, and they need to provide accessibility at some statement how they are accessible. So they are a bit pushed, but at the same time they have time to do this. They have time to plan Q2, Q1, Q2 in their companies, and to include this accessibility testing, development, planning into their product. But for other projects who are already in life, maybe I would say they will have 5 more years to be more accessible. So basically, this situation is interesting for new projects. This is must-have. For another, this is must-have, but with a bit other deadline. But basically, I see that in the nearest 5 years, this topic will be super actual. And if you have like big company, if you have big product, this is right time for doing this, because as we understand and as you see from testing, functional testing, accessibility, other kinds of testings, yeah. So always better to plan like in time, not not staying like and do not plan to fix this after going to production, for example, or before like couple of months before production. This is no right like logics also for overall testing and development. But yeah, I hope that it will trigger more discussions. It's triggered already, so especially for new products. So yeah, I am a bit like positive. I see this from a positive side. But yeah, let's see how it will go.
So there are a lot of career opportunities in accessibility right
Also.
now, actually.
Yes,
Growing field.
of course.
And then a question for
Exactly.
both of you, and I'll start with Liga, just because you briefly touched on this already. How does adopting accessibility contribute to a business's success and market expansion?
Yeah, well, this is also an interesting one, because the first thing that typically would be perceived that accessibility is an extra cost, and it is, because you need extra specialists that has a certain competence, you need a knowledge, so that's a training. You need a developer that has actually this competence, and plus also the engagement and interest in the accessibility to build these things. But what I have seen that obviously what companies are interested in terms of reaching their customers. There's one angle which is reaching new customers. The other angle is increasing loyalty and user experience and happiness of existing customers. Quite often, I see that the benefit is that, and I'm also trying always to tell about accessibility. That's not for the certain kind of group of people, but that's like how we can improve the experience layers for all, and thinking rather for all than a smaller group. That's, well, first it's easier also to sell in for this kind of thinking, but also that's actually the reality, what I believe. And if you think of like good accessibility for the public website, that typically means that the navigation is structured correctly. It supports the search engine optimization, so that already helps you to reach new customers in that angle, right? Or even the mobile experience, all of the keyboard navigation, the tabbing, that all is supporting the mobile navigation, mobile experience way much more than, sometimes even more than someone that has a visual disability. So again, we can reach way much more mobile device users. And as I see, the more there's, again, talking at a certain user segment that is mobile only. That is certain generation that is using mobile devices only already. That's the young people. Or going in certain countries, if you want to reach customers in Asia or in Africa, in kind of lower development countries, there's also quite often the case that people have only mobile devices. So if your site is optimized for mobile, then you have way much better possibility to reach these customers somewhere there. But I mean, putting that aside, I think that it's overall, we can see that really, if you improve accessibility for digital products, the engagement metrics typically go up. People are more quicker reaching their goals. So maybe sometimes the positive user experience is not something they report. They report the negative ones and when they have a complaint. But overall, the usage and loyalty improves. And actually, I have a super sneak peek. There's one, we are actually doing small revamp of our platform at the moment. And one of the reasons why we did it, it was exactly the accessibility improvement. And we already, since like a few days, rolling it out. In A/B test, we see that actually the new improved version, which has a better accessibility results, is actually increasing better signups, shorter session, but more successful sessions on the platform. So it really helps to improve the business metrics, though we can't, kind of really estimate before that would happen. So it does.
Okay, and Liga actually wanted to to add something about maybe new potential investors for the companies.
That's also an interesting one, right? I think it really depends on the company or the startup, which industry you are. And it also depends what kind of investor you're approaching. If that's an investor who is really looking about certain values and looking after, that the brand is really taking care about like inclusive design and has a high ethics standard, then definitely that would be your for that potential company's competitive advantage to get funding if the values match. Then again, depends on obviously the business, the brand, the investor. Sometimes it's different values. Sometimes it's faster time to market, and that's also fine.
Yeah.
So if you target certain investor that has these values and matches your product, that could actually be a way to get certain investor faster.
All right. Elina, do you have something to add regarding this topic?
Yeah.
I would say I agree with Ligas about this. Basically what I can add, this is almost the same, basically accessible design often changes overall user experience and for everyone, not only for people with disabilities. Basically features like clear navigation, alternative text for images, and adaptive layouts for correct headings, order, it's all can make this product easier for using for all the users, basically without any discrimination. So basically I totally agree with you, Legals.
Okay. And Elina, from your experience, what negative outcomes can occur if the implemented accessibility is not thoroughly tested?
Oh, this is a super good topic. Basically, this is something what we discuss about functional testing. Basically, as this every time, when you're doing this earlier, that is better. And basically about if we are speaking about accessibility, of course, we can trigger user frustration, of course. If something is not working and not working from accessibility perspective, some buttons are not visible or buttons are described as safe image or something like this. We a screen reader user totally frustrated. What should I do? This is image, or this is some div, or this is really button. What by pressing on what we can save some information. Okay, if you have some frustration, but potentially we can lose some customer base, of course. If our product is not accessible, and if we have this possibility to something can improve, of course, do this as earlier as possible. Then legal problems 2025, and if you have this new project, potentially you can have some problems and maybe some fines and lawsuits. This is something again, what you can trigger for yourself. Again, if you have some problems, if with your customers, and if customers are not silent, and if they can to post something in X or Facebook or Instagram, okay, again, negative publicity. Internet, if again, sometimes we see and we hear only negative feedback sometimes, and people like to share negative feedbacks instead of good. This is also something what a potential company can deal with. And increased cost, of course, this is from my side P0 most critical problem. Of course, if we're starting with if we're starting a new project, and if we have possibility to plan design, ask designers or accessibility specialists to review this design. If you will have accessible designs from the start, so you are going to develop this design more accessible with correct color contrasts, correct borders, text, headings, and so on, of course. And if it's possible to test this accessibility before going to production, as for like anything like functional, non-functional, do this if it's possible, because it's better to do this before and do this and again after like you have your first version, for example, of your product. Give this version to test for accessibility specialists, because some accessibility defects, they are not local but global. For example, it's totally fine to add some correct role for all the buttons, but you need to trigger this testing, and you need to catch this global problem for correct roles for some UI components. And you can reuse this for all other pages or features. So
Okay.
basically, I can speak about it a lot. So
I think that there was this saying, if it's not tested, it's not done.
Exactly.
Yes.
I guess we spent a lot of the time talking about the business impact and why it's imperative to make sure everything works, but I really want to hone in on the user side of stuff now. We've talked a lot about the business side. However, how can implemented accessibility really benefit users? And as a second up to that, would you agree that accessible design can benefit not only people with long-term disabilities, but also people who do not normally have those disabilities or accessibility issues?
Liga, you can start.
Liga can start this, yes.
I mean, 100%. And I think that there are multiple things how technically we build our digital products that already are supporting user experience to accessibility. But really, this is the thing. Like, for instance, just navigating through the mobile phone, or even like using or not using mousepad if you have injured finger, or maybe there's sudden sunlight, or maybe you really had, like in my case actually, had certain trauma around your eye, and you're not able to see for even a week, right? It's a super short time. And then you want to like still continue working, consuming the I don't know, Slack messages and WhatsApp messages or news sites and et cetera as normal. And you realize that you really can't if it's not optimized for these kind of cases. So I think that it's there's so many layers how this designing for certain group can improve the overall experience. And we have even like from the history, the inclusive design, classical inclusive designs, which is the water tap, right? The kind of mixer. You know, it was designed for someone who was kind of not having the full arm motorics, but it's helping us for I don't know, the tons of the things. Even the keyboard that we use at the moment, it was originally created for a lady that was blind and wanted to write letters to her husband during nights. And now it's like, can you imagine life without a keyboard, right? No one can imagine that. So definitely, there is a way that it's not only improving experience, but sometimes even sparking the innovation that you kind of try to tailor for certain group with limited capabilities. But then we find out that we all can benefit from that.
Excellent, and I thank you for those examples. Also, Elina, do you have any quick comments on that as well, and how user experiences impact this?
Basically, I also wanted to add about this temporary and like situational disabilities. There is like also different categories of disabilities, like hearing, physical, and temporary or situational. Yeah, so this is, but basically, yes. I don't know. I think, Liga, you covered everything with your answer. Yeah.
Yes, and ladies, maybe in a one-sentence answer, what is the message that users with disability receive, knowing that the world is moving to a more inclusive design direction?
We can go with Liga first.
We are all the same, and we are all more connected.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
And Elina?
Yeah, agree. And I would say that now it's correct time, and when like people also with disabilities, they can use their potential and without any blockers. So yeah.
Wonderful.
All right.
Excellent notes to end on and excellent messages there. Thank you so much for those.